A couple weeks back, I did a video playing some old Flash games. And well, while I did play a massive range of games, there's no doubt that I was missing probably the best Flash game series of all time. That's right, the Henry Stickmin series. Whether you got into the series when it first released like myself, or stumbled across the series from the explosion it had on YouTube a few years ago, we can all agree that Henry Stickmin might just be one of the best Flash game series of all time. For those who don't know, Henry Stickmin is a collection of Flash games where it's really reminiscent of one of those choose your own path books you would find. The games share something in common, the protagonist Henry and his escapades to make a lot of money, whether that's breaking into a bank, stealing a diamond, or even making a hell amount of money as he's infiltrating an airship. And considering the style of the games, it really got me thinking, with all of these different endings in Henry Stickmin's final arc, completing the mission, which ending is the definitive best ending for Henry? But there's not really a definitive best ending, and if I were to judge the endings myself, it would not really be a best endings video, but a favorite endings video. So, what is a variable that we can say for sure would equate for the best ending for our lovable Stickmin protagonist? Now, I know what you're thinking.
Racism!
No, what the fuck? Money! And so, using my basic understanding of math and the power of Google, I'm going to calculate what is the richest Henry Stickmin ending. But first, let's lay down some ground rules. First of all, I'm going to be counting all things owned by Henry. Even if it's not something he can sell, as long as it's worth something, I'll be counting it. I'll also be deducing money based on the things that he owns getting taken away or destroyed, as ultimately the goal is to account for all the gains and losses in each route. And most importantly, I'm only going to count things that we see in that specific ending. So even if we find out in another route that the Toppat clan has $100 million hidden in their orbital space station, we won't count it towards the route we're currently on, or else I'd be here a lot longer. Also remember that I'm not an expert by any means, and I'm sure that you'll have many points in this video where you'll disagree with the things that I'm pricing, but that's okay. In fact, I encourage you to object and call me out for anything I say or calculate that might not seem right, because feedback is important for a growth as a content creator. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing, and hey, maybe even comment below your favorite Henry Stickmin ending. And let's get this going! Toppat King. Now, this ending is the result of getting the rapidly promoted executive and convict allies in the previous Henry Stickmin games. The route begins with Ellie and Henry returning to the Toppat clan's main base, and in Henry's stead, Reginald took control of the Toppat clan, and they're planning to launch all of their Toppat clan's assets into space with an orbital station. Turns out though, that they're under attack, and an attack helicopter attacks Henry and Reginald, where I can make my first calculations. Let's first account for the broken glass. According to information in game, Henry Stickmin is 6 foot tall, and using his height, we can measure the windows. And if my calculations are correct, these windows are 8 foot tall and wide. Using a little of Google to estimate glass prices, I can estimate this glass would be worth around $675. Now, in the same scene, there's also 2 broken desktop monitors. As far as we're aware, the desktops themselves are embedded inside of the wall. Taking account for the average price I can see for monitors on Google, that's roughly $250, with each monitor being worth $125 each. So, for this scene as a whole, that puts us at $925 debt. Nothing costly in the next scene, but it's in the scene after where we get a glimpse of a broken hangar door. Now, considering that the average garage door is around $415, and considering the size of the hangar, I'm going to make a super rough estimate and estimate that this hangar door could fit 20 garage doors, making it a total of an $8,300 loss. That means, so far, we're a solid $225 in debt. Not too good. The rest of the route plays out with nothing being added to the tally, and it's the ending where the big gains are made. Now, considering that Henry is the leader of the Toppat clan in this ending, we can say that the orbital station and its contents inside belong to Henry. And specifically about those contents, we have no proper way of calculating their worth, but we can estimate. The International Space Station we have IRL costed about $150 billion. So using that as a rough estimate, the Toppat King ending leaves us with 149,990,735 Certainly a good ending. Free man. This route is a result of getting Relentless Bounty Hunter and Ghost Inmate in a previous titles, and this route revolves around you escaping, and because of that you don't really make all too much money throughout this route. The only thing in this route I can say where money is earned is the nanosuit that Henry takes back with him to Hearth, but considering we don't really have a price tag for the nanosuit, I'm going to presume it's roughly the same price as a spacesuit, and holy shit! Googling up the price of a spacesuit, apparently a spacesuit today would cost $250 million. So that's simply how much Henry makes from this route. $250 million. Special BROvert Ops. This route is from getting the government-supported private investigator as well as the international rescue operative. The story is pretty simple. Henry and Charles got to team up to arrest the remnants of the Toppat clan, and I'll be honest, I don't think Henry makes any money whatsoever from this ending. So we can just skip past this entire route with a $0. Triple threat. So this route is earned from getting convict allies and government-supported private investigator. In this route, you work with Ellie and Charles against the Toppat clan. Aside from that, you don't really make any money, so that's a big, fat $0. Stickmin Space Resort. This is the route you get from Pure-Blooded Thief and Presumed Dead. It revolves around Henry discovering the Toppat rocket and deciding to steal it for himself. The ending is all time-based, but it's not actually until the end where Henry makes his gains, where he successfully steals the orbital station from the Toppat clan, and using previous estimate, I can confidently say Henry gets away with $150 billion. Jewel Baron. This route is achieved by getting Pure-Blooded Thief and Ghost Inmate, and revolves around Henry infiltrating the orbital station in order to steal the Norwegian Emerald to complete his collection, having stolen the Tunisian Diamond and Romanian Ruby before. It all begins with Henry in space, wearing a spacesuit and riding what seems to be some weird space scooter that has the ability to transform into a mosquito. Anyways, Henry is able to infiltrate the space station at the cost of his spacesuit and space scooter, but that stuff is bound to cost a lot of money. Minus $250 million for the spacesuits, and since we can't really calculate the price for a jet scooter that can turn into a mosquito, let's make a really rough estimation of $20 million. Why 20 million, you ask? Because it is just like a regular scooter with jets attached, but also for the technology that allows it to transform into a ship is bound to be pretty expensive. And so far that puts us 270 million into debt. Anyways, it's only a few scenes later where Henry gets his hand on the emerald, the grand prize, and comparing it to Henry's height of 6 feet, I can say that this emerald is 4 foot tall and 2 foot wide. And researching emeralds for this video has taught me a lot of things. Did you know the color of an emerald adds or reducts value? I'm no emerald expert, and honestly valuing this emerald is going to be pretty hard of not knowing its weight nor its details. But to me, it looks like almost the perfect emerald. And by accounting the average emerald's weight based on size and scaling it up to the size of this specific emerald, that gives us around a 1,372 carat emerald. And considering the average price for an extra fine emerald per carat is roughly $60,000, I make the rough estimation that this emerald is worth around $82,320,000. Like I said, I'm not an emerald expert, so I could be completely wrong. Now in total, would you believe that the final price comes off as $187,680,000 in debt? Yeah, it's a real surprise, but you know, spacesuits are really fucking expensive. Little nest egg. This route is achieved by getting the relentless bounty hunter and presumed dead. In this route, Henry attacks the Toppat clan's train, specifically the money cart where they keep all of their money. The route starts with Henry plowing his tank into the train. Now, a couple Google searches would tell me a tank is worth a few million. Let's put our tank at roughly $5 million, which would leave us at minus $5 million. Anyways, so Henry, after taking down some artillery and Mr. Macbeth, we finally get a good chance to see what's inside the train, in which we see lines of gold bars. Now first, let's presume that half of this gold is interior. Now using Henry as our scale, since we know he's 6 foot tall, we can calculate that the train is 16 feet tall and 36 in length. And finally, 8 feet wide, which gives us 4,608 cubic feet. Now, doing some Google searches, someone found out that 1 cubic feet of gold is worth roughly $20 million. So if we divide that by 4,608 and by half, since we estimate that half the area is to be interior, that gives us 2,304 cubic feet of gold and approximately $46.080 billion. Added to our debt, which gives us the final price of $46.075 billion dues. I apologize for that corny ass line. Toppat Recruits / Pardoned Pals. These routes are achieved from pure-blooded thief and convict allies. It starts as Ellie and Henry are still fleeing from the war, seeking refuge from the Toppats. So, first things first, the bike that crashes into the 2 cars. If we say the motorcycle was $5,000, then we can start this off with $5,000 debt. The route continues on until eventually we're dead smack off in a standoff. And this is the only route where there's multiple endings for it, so let's delve into both. Toppat Recruits. In the Toppat ending, it's found that we get new hats, presuming that each hat is $30, that's $60 for us. However, we're also expected to return the ruby, which, using similar math to the emeralds, I've calculated that it would be worth $316,800,000. Looks like Henry's not making all too much money in this ending. $316,804,950 in debt. Pardoned Pals. In the government ending, Henry and Ellie help the government in destroying the Toppat rocket, and they get a government pardon, making this ending have a $5,000 in debt. Toppat for life. This route can be chosen by having the rapidly promoted executive and presumed dead. In this route, Henry eavesdrops on some government members and attempts to shut down their operation against the Toppat clan. Throughout this route, the only thing Henry really gets is a tank, which if we use our previous calculations, gives us a solid number for this route. $5 million. Cleaned him out. This route is unlocked by being the government-supported private investigator and ghost inmate. In this route, Henry learns about the Toppat's plan, especially about the train carrying all of their valuables into the orbital station, and Henry gets the plan to get them for himself. It's only in the final arc of this route does Henry make all of the financial gains. So let's do a quick calculation of everything we see him take. Gladiator helmet, $2,300,000. Tank, $5 million. 6 feet safe with unknown contents, 13 million estimate based on size. 120 gold bars, 60 million. Sandstone statue, 20,000. 2 shipping containers, 50 million. Estimate on contents. 3 expensive paintings, 150 million estimate. Golden toilet, 4 million. 3 golden AK-47s, 750,000. Expensive yellow car, 500,000. 2 golden pistols, 300,000. Sword of golden handle, 50,000. Golden bone, 200,000. Golden frying pan, 400,000. Diamond's helmet, 18,372,656,250. Using game theory's estimations, kill me. 40 gemstones, 10 million estimation. Everything else, 40 million. Very rough estimation. Okay. I need a minute. Okay. Now realize that these are very rough estimations, mostly based on my Google searches, and these are only really things we directly see Henry have ownership over. So, while I would love to count all of the money from the money cards list, we don't know 100% if Henry actually possesses it or not in this universe. Which leads our total to be $18,664,176,250. Master Bounty Hunter. This route is to be taken if you choose Relentless Bounty Hunter and International Rescue Operative. In this route, Henry is on a mission to take down the right-hand man with the help of a squad. In the opening cutscene, Henry loses a parachute, which is around $6,500. In the rest of the route, nothing else really regarding money happens, so that means by the end of the route, Henry has a total of $6,500 in debt. Valiant Hero. This is the route chosen if you have government-supported private investigator and presumed dead. It centers around Henry and Charles going on a mission to take down the Toppat orbital station. Though, there's not really a single point in this route where Henry loses or gains any money. The only thing we gain is a lot of sadness from Charles' death. $0. Charles! Toppat Civil Warfare. This route occurs if you're the rapidly promoted executive and the ghost inmate. In this route, after you've abandoned Delhi, the Toppat clan announces you as its leader. And, well, again, there's not really any losses or gains. By the end of the route, you're able to escape with an escape pod starting a Toppat Civil War. But, what is certain, we lose most of our men, as well as the giant airship. And, well, calculating the average airship price gives us our answer. That's a massive loss of $75 million in debt. Capital gains. This is the chosen route if you're a relentless bounty hunter and a convict ally. In this ending, Henry and Ellie decide to take on the Toppat clan's money cards. The first loss of the route is with the tank, which gets destroyed when it crashes into the train. Look, I said this for the 100th time, a tank's worth $5 million, that's the price we're calculating at, that's the set price, but we're not in debt for long, as the money crate is lifted into the air, as the right-hand man gets his ass comboed. We've already calculated the contents of the money train's value, which puts us at a $46,075,000,000. Revenged. This ending is achieved if you've got the Betrayed. In this route, you must get your revenge against the Toppat clan after you've been dropped. And, look, besides this being an epic revenge story, there's not really any point where you make or lose any money, and it's implied Henry fucking dies, so, I mean, yeah, $0. And we're finished. That's every Henry Stickmin route. Oh my gosh, you have no idea how long I've been here doing this. It's been like 2 whole days. You watching this? Go outside, take a breath. What are you doing? So, what endings garnered the most money? Which endings were the biggest losses? If you've been paying attention, then you'll know the answer already. But the richest, and so far, best ending in Henry Stickmin in completing the mission is none other than Stickmin Space Resort with an astounding $150 billion. Honestly, it's not a surprise why this is the richest ending. I mean, I'm not even accounting for all the loot of the money that would likely be in the orbital station, but just the station itself. I mean, if we included everything, all the loot we see, it would basically be like at least $200 billion. You think that's a lot? Oh, Oh yeah, let me remind you, assuming that there's 194 countries, that's higher amount of money than 145 of those countries. That's right, richer than 3/4 of the world's countries. This would make Henry Stickmin the richest individual in the world. But I guess he's not in the world, he's kind of in orbit of the world. Jeff Bezos or whatever. Thank you guys for watching this video. It's taken me a while. I mean, I had to do everything from writing the script, calculating prices. Probably not too accurate. Again, I'm not an expert, but I did learn a lot by making this video. I learned the price of gold, the emeralds. Emeralds are really complicated. And generally, I put a lot of work into this video. If you want to see more content like this, please like and subscribe. Hell, maybe even comment below what's your favorite Henry Stickmin ending. And, you know, give me the whole thing. What the fuck?